Llywydd, and it's a pleasure to take part in this debate this afternoon. I've really enjoyed listening to the contributions, even though I don't agree with everything that's been said. And I'm also a big TV and radio fan, so it's really good to take part in this afternoon. So a free and open press in the news media is essential for democracy to thrive. One only has to look at what's happening in Russia to understand the risks of media being controlled by the state and the power that has over its citizens. A single voice controlled by the state used to spread lies to the populace. At the other end of the extreme, we have this situation in the US, where the media landscape is a free-for-all. Misinformation is openly broadcast by one or two large corporations that control all the media output across the USA. And I think what we need to see is a happy medium where we have plurality and independence, but regulated by a body independent from the state, much like the media landscape that we have currently in Wales. So if it's not broke, then why are we trying to fix it? What is the purpose of devolving powers over broadcasting to Wales? I've listened to the arguments put forward by Labour and Plaid politicians this afternoon, and it's clear as mud what they're trying to achieve. How will giving Welsh ministers powers over broadcasting improve the Welsh media landscape? I believe it has a real prospect of making it worse. Wales is home to around 4.5% of the UK's total population, roughly about 1.3 million households. Even if every one of those households were to pay the licence fee, it still wouldn't be enough to pay for BBC Wales's output and the running of S4C. Because the licence fee is collected from across the UK, Wales can benefit from larger amounts of funding, so we punch well above our weight in that respect. In the year prior to the pandemic, around a fifth of the UK's independent production budgets were spent in Wales. You only have to look here in Cardiff and what Sam Kurtz mentioned about the creation of Doctor Who and Casualty and amongst others that are filmed here. And we get more than our fair share of funding in that sense. So if Labour and Plaid get their way, they'll no doubt want more funding to follow the increase in powers. And how will the 82% of UK households, i.e. the English licence fee payers, feel about their licence fee going up to fund Welsh broadcasting? If broadcasting is devolved, what happens to S4C outside of Wales? According to broadcasters, the latest annual report, more than two-thirds of the channel's viewership comes from outside our nation, and that's driven in part because of the relationship between S4C and the BBC. And with the use of modern technology such as BBC iPlayer, it's accessible in all parts of the UK, as it is with BBC Alba in Scotland. And what will happen to that relationship if broadcasting is devolved to one of the 4 UK nations? We won't be able to dictate to the other 3. There are also other concerns when it comes to funding. So what happens when the Welsh Government decides it has other funding priorities? Say they need more money to fix the mess they have made on the NHS when the penny finally drops. Will S4C or the Welsh Broadcasting Corporation even get a look in when it comes to their budgets? I seriously doubt it. There is no rational reason to devolve broadcasting other than to bolster the slow march towards independence. The Welsh public don't support the breakup of the UK, and I'm sure they don't support the breakup of the UK's media landscape. Broadcasting and media production across the UK is facing big enough challenges, and changing demography and technology is ripping up the old ways of working, and we would be foolish to try going it alone in Wales. Yes, sure.
I think that the biggest threat to media at present is not the UK government. If you look at what it's doing to the BBC, do you not admit that there is a risk to the future of S4C because of what you've outlined? The relationship between S4C and the BBC is crucial, and yet the UK government is placing that at threat, which is why we need the devolution of broadcasting so we can protect the future of media here in Wales.
No, absolutely not. And I think the modern technology and the accessibility of S4C, not only in Wales and across the UK, is actually something to be proud of, and the fact that we can actually promote our Welsh language on a wider scale than what we would have been able to 20, 30 years ago. So I think you're wrong to say that, really. And I think we have to work together with other parts of the UK, not, and not just work in silos, but work together, and not to set nations against each other to compete against one another, which is what will happen if we pursue this ideology of devolution of broadcasting. Thank you.